Have you ever seen the case of Grandma who thought she was in a romantic relationship with Post Malone? The dude is in his 30s yet, and Nana thought with her 80-year-old hot self could have a shot with him. We might talk about this story in another video, but right now there is this ongoing case of an old lady who fell for a soap opera star. The problem? She's still married. So instead of divorcing her husband, she decided to get rid of him instead. Roxanne Doucette is an elderly woman from Massachusetts married to her husband Paul for more than 40 years. Everything seemed lovely between the two.
According to her social media page, she notes she's been married since 1979. She wrote, "Living one day at a time, trying to be as positive as I can. I'm married to Paul. I have 2 children and 3 beautiful grandchildren."
One day after Paul came home from work, Roxanne had ready a delicious soup for him. Tasted a little funky though, but according to Roxanne, the soup was old, but I guess edible. Well, an hour later, Roxanne had to call an ambulance because Paul had collapsed on the floor and was unresponsive. He was rushed to a hospital where he is thankfully recovering. This all sounds like an honest mistake, right? Then why Roxanne is facing multiple charges like attempted murder, resisting arrest, and assault? The couple's daughter might give us a little insight.
Roxanne's daughter told police her mother had been messaging someone she believed to be a soap opera actor and one of the stars of The Bold and Beautiful, Thorsten Kaye, and that the supposed soap star scammed her into giving them thousands of dollars. Once Roxanne's daughter went through the messaging on her phone from the catfishing scammer, she found incriminating messages pointing the finger at her mother as the person who purposely poisoned her father.
Yep, another one of those. Roxanne was talking to a scammer pretending to be Thorsten Kaye, an actor best known to be in soap operas like The Bold and the Beautiful and All My Children. This is him with his beautiful wife, just so you can see. Oh, here's Roxanne. No reason at all. That was very mean of me, but come on. Let's be realistic here. This is a handsome TV star, rich and successful. Why would he be interested in Roxanne? There are plenty of movie stars and musicians dating or married to regular people, but the difference is that they met in person and their lives collide and mingle perfectly fine. Roxanne was a housewife who never met this actor in her life. Her paths never crossed. So why would Mr. Kaye be interested in someone whom he had never met? Let's just continue. Roxanne had very incriminating messages, but the one that sealed her fate was specific. After the scammer told her to get rid of her husband, a phrase we could interpret to mean many things, Roxanne took it literally.
Shortly after 2:30 that afternoon, Roxanne wrote back, quote, "Making an amazing soup, special potion. He will be hungry when he gets back. Just enough for him." About 2 hours later at 4:26 p.m., Roxanne wrote, "Hubby got back, not feeling well. Maybe I can collect life insurance."
It's still unclear what was in the soup that made Paul sick, but this event got the daughter in protective mode.
Court documents go on to reveal Paul was unaware of the possible poisoning, and after speaking with Roxanne's daughter, police decided Roxanne should not be allowed in the hospital room with her husband, and they were looking to have her banned from there.
The rest of the story is basically Roxanne wiggling her ass out of the mess she created in the most disgusting way she could possibly think. She explained to the cops how Paul knew she was texting this actor because she always wanted to meet someone famous. And later, she threw her husband under the bus, complaining about his alleged erectile dysfunction. Completely irrelevant, but whatever it is to be a victim, right, Roxanne? She continued to put all the blame on the scammer. She was in the middle of writing a book, and for some reason she wanted the police to know she was assaulted when she was a kid. The police was so done with her bullshit and asked her to surrender her phone, to which she refused. A note the officer saw was that when Roxanne was giving her reasons, she was not looking at them in the eye, always looking to the left. And of course, the eye could never hurt him. I love him. How dare you!
Did not try to poison my husband. They were saying that they loved me and they wanted me to leave my husband. I think he had a TIA. He had some vertigo and he became unconscious.
After she found out she was not allowed to be near Paul because they were treating the case as a possible attempted murder, she lost it.
After continuous refusal to hand over her phone, officers then informed her she would be arrested. Police say the 64-year-old resisted by pulling her arms in and squatting to the ground. She ended up on her back and then began assaulting the officer, kicking him with her boot. even kicking him in the crotch. Officers say they were able to get Roxanne cuffed and her phone was eventually seized.
I guess after she was bailed out of jail, she thought consequences were not a thing, at least not for her, so she tried to contact Paul again. The daughter called the cops after her dad gave her a note Roxanne wrote for him.
When Roxanne's daughter turned the handwritten letter over to police, it reportedly stated, "Please consider dropping the restraining order. That's a long time to have you out of my life. I want my husband back. I miss you so much." That letter she sent now has her facing an additional charge of violating a protective order.
It's incredible that looking at her, you will never think that she's a piece of shit. She looks like an adorable grandma, inoffensive and frail. This reminds me of this case, I think in Australia, about a woman who served dinner to her family and they all died.
Police do believe that death cap mushrooms were present in that beef Wellington that was prepared by Erin Patterson in Leongatha last month. That meal, of course, resulting in the deaths of 3 people, her family members, and of course landing Reverend Ian Wilkinson in hospital still this morning, continuing to fight for his life, although Sarah, his family, do say his condition is now improving.
She claimed it was an accident, but after further investigation, it was most definitely not. I might talk about that case, it's very interesting. I love that Roxanne glitched between "I would never leave my husband" to "this actor told me he loved me." Which one is it, bitch? The court date is on February 8. She's not allowed to be near her husband nor her daughter. I have said in this catfish/romance scamming videos how egotistical a lot of victims are. Let's take Sally as an example.
I didn't think I was that bad looking either. My pictures looked pretty nice. And I felt like the stuff he said could be true. I've always been told that I'm beautiful and by everybody, you know, or better looking than most. So everything he had to say to me, I believed. Look, I talked to at least 10, maybe 13 scammers, you know.
And one person was real.
One person was real, but he was the ugliest guy I ever saw. You know, what could I do?
It's difficult not to mention looks when the victims feel they are the last Coke in the desert. They do believe that. And they also feel entitled to the money the alleged partner/scammer claims they have. It's always the same. But in this case, Roxanne really thought she was above everything. Her husband, her daughter, her grandkids. She didn't care. She wanted the hot guy and his money. And if she had to implode her life and the ones around her, she would. She did. Really makes you think about their relationship. How was it for real? Did she hide those not so great personality traits from Paul? Or was he oblivious? Maybe he was used to her ego being overly inflated? Who knows? We will find out on February 8 for sure. Thank you for sticking around in this disgusting story with still lots of questions. I hope I see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like. I will see you later. Thank you for watching.